I think that as athletes, we're wired to thrive on structure and routine. And odds are, if you're in this new season without your sport, you're probably still trying to figure it out. I know that when I was competing in my sport, I was waking up at 5 a.m., going to weights, going to breakfast, going to practice, coming back, doing schoolwork, practicing some more, etc. And now I have a blank morning. So what do I want to do with it? We're going to be talking about some practical things that have helped me identify a new form of structure in the season of life. So number one, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Now What podcast. I am your host, Sierra Stout. I'm so glad you're here, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. It helps this content get pushed out more and more to people like you and me who need to hear it. So thanks so much for doing that, and I'm really excited about today. I think that as athletes, we're wired to thrive on structure and routine. And odds are, if you're in this new season without your sport, you're probably still trying to figure it out if you're anything like me. And that can feel overwhelming. I know that structure used to probably look like training schedules and meal and sleep routines and social structure between your team and school. You had everything down pat, and that's just how you were living your life. And now, without it, yes, you may be in your job now, but you're trying to figure out, well, what do I do? What else can I do that makes me happy? What do I do besides work? What will make me want to wake up in the morning? And I know that for me personally, when everything came to an end, I was overwhelmed with the amount of time that I had. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I spent so much of my time in my sport that when it was gone, it was overwhelming because I didn't have a Saturday to myself in a long time. And so when I had freedom to do what I wanted, I didn't even know what to do. I didn't know how to fill the time. And with that, I think there also became a lack of community that I felt, because when you're playing in your sport, odds are you're probably with your teammates and you're out there doing it collectively with a group of people. And so when you have this time to spare, you want to spend it with people. And I know that I have personally joined a run club, I've joined a Pilates class, I've joined a pickleball league, etc. And it's been really fruitful, but with that, I still think that I'm trying to figure out my structure and my routine even 2 years later. It's continuing to evolve, and I think there are days when I wish I was still waking up for weights in the morning, and there are days when I'm like, absolutely not. I'm so glad that I can sleep in tomorrow. So there's tension in both, but I just want to unpack it today because I know that the lack of structure can feel heavy. Why does it feel heavy? Well, odds are you're probably dealing with some forms of anxiety. It's bringing on procrastination with this amount of time. You might have restlessness. You might have decision fatigue because you don't know what to do next. You liked the security of knowing what you were going to do. You were being told what to do and you just went and you did it. And for the record, this isn't uncommon. Athletes thrive on structure. It's not a crutch. It's actually a tool, and it's a good tool to have. So we just need to learn how to use it in this new season. So for the next part of this podcast, we're going to be talking about some practical things that have helped me identify a new form of structure in the season of life. So number one, how are you anchoring your mornings? What do you want to do first thing when you wake up? I know that when I was competing in my sport, I was waking up at 5 a.m., going to weights, going to breakfast, going to practice, coming back, doing schoolwork, practicing some more, etc. And now I have a blank morning. So what do I want to do with it? For me, I like to wake up. I like to read. I like to read the Bible. I like to get my head in a good space. And then I like to go on a walk, or I like to go work out. Moving my body early in the morning kind of helps me feel like I'm back in that season. Number two, you could pick out your outfits the night before. I know that for me, when I was in my season of playing competitively still, before travel days, or when I would wake up super early, I would lay out my clothes for the next day, and that gave me a sense of structure. I woke up and I put on those clothes and I went about my day. And I find myself still doing that, and it makes me feel good. I don't know, there's something about it that just feels secured. It feels solidified, like there is some form of structure in my life. And that's been filling the void a little bit. Number three, identify some daily non-negotiables that you're going to participate in, whether that's hydration, whether that's moving your body, whether that's going outside. Whatever it is, just make that commitment to yourself and try to do it every day. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't even have to be long. But I think those minuscule things will help create a form of structure in your life. And number four, I would encourage you to set a weekly rhythm rather than a strict daily plan. I know that if you're anything like me who leans a little bit more towards a 1 on the Enneagram, I'm a perfectionist and I'm really high strung when it comes to certain things. And if I have too strict of a plan and I don't do it, I feel like I fail and then I'm beating myself up about it. So instead, I just like to have a weekly rhythm that I follow into, allowing for some ebbs and flows for things that maybe come up that are exciting and I can say yes to, or when I want to decline and I just want to have an evening to myself. So again, we don't want that to be too strict because odds are if you're an athlete, you're probably leaning a little bit more towards type A and with that structure and routine. And so if you're not following it to a T, I'm sure that might create a little bit of tension like it does for me. Now, I know that structure in our sport probably used to feel a little bit like pressure to perform, whereas now structure is actually giving us freedom to live. I think that without structure, we can fall into these traps of isolation and maybe deal with a little bit of anxiety and depression. At least I do. So I have to be intentional about how I'm spending my time. But you don't need a perfect calendar or a perfect routine or a perfect structure to feel safe. You just need a few touch points that allow you to stay on track. So I just want to ask you, what are you doing in this current season to build structure? I honestly am curious of other ideas that you guys may have. I know that for me, I'm doing those few things that I mentioned a couple minutes ago daily that helps make me feel secure in this season of life. But again, I know that things look different. I know that things ebb and flow, but hopefully this quick episode will allow you to start small and just rebuild a new structure and routine in this season of life. So if you are in a season of rebuilding your life and your structure, know that you're not alone. You're doing great work. I know that time can be a little intimidating when you are wondering how to fill it, but you're doing the right things. And I really do believe that if you have some specific practicals that you implement in your day-to-day, that will help you feel more secure and structured in your routine. But if this episode has been a blessing to you at all, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps push this out and it helps me as I'm continuing to grow this podcast. But I'm so glad you're here and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Now What podcast.